Hello, YALSA attendees. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kristen Luby from the Macmillan Children's School and Library team, and I'm excited to be presenting some of our upcoming young adult books. First, if you haven't already, I encourage you to visit our YALSA virtual booth on our website, mackidschoolandlibrary.com. You can follow the bit.ly link here, and there you'll find more information about some of our authors speaking at this year's symposium, and you'll also learn some more information about how to request digital ARCs for the books that I'm going to be talking about today. So without further ado, let's jump into our presentation. The first book I'm going to talk about is The Awakening of Malcolm X, a new historical novel about Malcolm X's years in prison, which was an extremely formative time for him. It was during this time that Malcolm joined the Nation of Islam, the prison debate team. He read all the books in the library and grappled with issues like race, politics, religion, and justice in the 1940s. And as his time in prison came to an end, he began to feel awakened, emerging from prison as not just Malcolm Little, but Malcolm X. The book is written by his daughter, YALSA Shabazz, along with Coretta Scott King Award winner and New York Times bestselling author Tiffany D. Jackson. YALSA has previously written two books about her parents' lives. Betty Before X is a middle grade novel that she wrote with Renee Watson, and X, a novel, was written with Kekla Magoon. And The Awakening of Malcolm X chronologically follows X, a novel, but it can definitely be read as a standalone. And what I love about all of these books is not only will young readers learn about the lives of these historical activists, but their life stories and their journeys will inspire young readers to use their voice as activists. This powerful historical account also invites larger discussions on Black power, prison reform, and civil rights, and it's a perfect book for continuing anti-racist education in your communities. Another great book to add to your anti-racist reading lists is The Angel of Greenwood by Randy Pink, which is a historical novel set in 1921, the year of the Tulsa Race Massacre. 2021 marks the 100th anniversary of this tragic event, and yet it's an event that is not often covered in history books, and too few readers know about it. Author Randy Pink, who you may recognize from her most recent acclaimed historical novel, Girls Like Us, set this story in the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, a prosperous Black community known as the Black Wall Street. She introduces readers to two Tulsa teens, Isaiah and Angel. Isaiah is known as a troublemaker in town, but secretly he is an avid reader and a poet, while Angel is a loner who everyone sees as a goody-goody church girl. The two become unlikely friends when their English teacher offers them a job on her mobile library. But their lives change forever on May 31st, 1921, when a vicious white mob storms the community of Greenwood, leaving the town destroyed and thousands of residents displaced. This is a powerful historical account and an important story to share with teens that sheds light on an often overlooked chapter of U.S. history. Another great book inspired by current events is best-selling author April Henry's newest thriller, Playing with Fire. When a wildfire breaks out on an Oregon hiking trail, a perfect sunny day quickly becomes a nightmare. With no cell service, very few supplies, and no clear way out of the burning forest, a group of strangers will have to become allies if they're going to survive. Hiking in the forest, in the dark, they must deal with injuries, wild animals, and even a criminal on the lam before the fire catches them. As ever, April Henry has done an impeccable background research on this story and has crafted a realistic teen versus nature thriller that will have readers hooked. Speaking of books that will send a chill down your spine, What Big Teeth is Rose Szabo's debut gothic fantasy. Eleanor has been estranged from her wild family for years. When she flees boarding school after a horrifying incident, she goes to the only place she knows she thinks is safe, the home she left behind. But when she gets there, she struggles to fit in with her monstrous relatives who prowl the woods around the family estate and read fortunes in the guts of birds. Eleanor finds herself desperately trying to hold the family together in order to save them all. She must embrace her family of monsters and tame the darkness inside her. This is a dark and chilling book, perfect for fans of Wilder Girls. Debut author Angeline Boulley is an enrolled member of the Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Chippewa Indians, and a storyteller who writes about her Ojibwe community in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. She's also a former director of the Office of Indian Education at the United States Department of Education, and Firekeeper's Daughter is her groundbreaking YA thriller about a Native teen who must root out corruption in her community. 18-year-old Denise is a biracial, unenrolled tribal member and the product of a scandal, and she has never quite fit in her hometown or the nearby Ojibwe reservation. When she witnesses a shocking murder, she is thrust into the middle of a criminal investigation. Reluctantly, she agrees to go undercover, but secretly she pursues her own investigation, tracking down the criminals with her knowledge of chemistry and Ojibwe traditional medicine. But the deceptions and the deaths keep piling up, and soon danger strikes too close to home. Now Denise must learn what it means to be a strong Ojibwe woman and how far she'll go to protect her community, even if it tears apart the only world she's ever known. I am thrilled to have a new book by Anna Marie McLemore, and I know teen readers will be too. Anna Marie is a master of magical realism. They write modern twists on classic fairy tales featuring Latinx and queer characters, and if you haven't already, I highly encourage you to read their previous books. The Mirror Season is a reimagining of The Snow Queen, in which two teens who were sexually assaulted at the same party find their fates unexpectedly intertwined. Featuring an otherworldly forest, magical pen dulce, and mysterious mirrored glass, Anna Marie seamlessly weaves magic into this powerful story of two survivors taking back their power and healing together. Readers will be enchanted. Aiden Thomas is a star on the rise. Their debut novel, Cemetery Boys, released this September, was an instant New York Times bestseller and made the National Book Award for Young People's Literature long list. Their new book, Lost in the Neverwoods, is a dark, contemporary reimagining of the Peter Pan canon. It's been 5 years since Wendy and her two brothers went missing in the woods, but when the town's children start to disappear, the questions surrounding her brother's mysterious circumstances are brought back into light. Attempting to flee her past, Wendy almost runs over an unconscious boy lying in the middle of the road. It's Peter, a boy she thought only existed in her stories, and he asks for Wendy's help to rescue the missing kids. But in order to find them, Wendy must confront what's waiting for her in the woods. Aiden Thomas will also be speaking at this year's YALSA Symposium. You can catch them at the Pride of Space LGBTQ representation panel on Sunday, November 8th at 11 a.m. And if you can't attend live, a recording of the program will also be made available for symposium registrants for 1 year after the event. What Beauty There Is by Corey Anderson is a stunning debut thriller about broken people trying to survive. Corey wrote a really beautiful letter for readers about what inspired her to write this story, and you can find it in the YALSA post on our website that I mentioned earlier. Corey grew up in Idaho in the wild Rocky Mountains, where this story also takes place. There, readers will meet Jack Morton and his younger brother. Their mother has died, and now they have nothing left except each other. They are living in harsh poverty, and Jack faces a choice. He can lose his brother to foster care, or he can find the drug money that sent his father to prison. And spoiler alert, he chooses the money. Readers will also meet Ava Bardem, who lives in isolation. For years, her father has been controlling her life. He's a merciless man who has taught her to love no one. Now her father is stalking the same money as Jack, and when he picks up on Jack's trail, Ava must make her own choice to remain silent or to speak up and help the brothers survive. Haunting and beautiful, this story blends Jack and Ava's viewpoints into a gripping and powerful story that offers a keen perspective on courage, resilience, and what it means to love. The book has a ton of crossover appeal for adult readers as well. Stark and suspenseful, this is a remarkable debut for fans of Cormac McCarthy and Winter's Bone. The Half-Orphan's Handbook is Joan F's debut, a story of grief and healing for fans of John Smith. It's been 3 months since Lila lost her father to suicide. Since then, she's learned to protect herself from pain by following two unbreakable rules. 1, the only person who can truly hurt you are the ones you love. Therefore, love no one. And 2, stay away from liars. But when Lila's mother sends her to a summer grief camp, it's suddenly harder for Lila to follow these rules. Potential new friends and an unexpected crush threaten to drag her back into life for the first time since her father's death. On top of everything else, there's more about what happened that Lila doesn't know, and facing the truth about her family will be the hardest part of learning how a broken heart can love again. This coming-of-age story is an empathetic exploration of grief, full of humor and heart. Horror fans will delight in The Mary Shelley Club, a deliciously twisty thriller from New York Times bestselling author Goldie Moldavsky. New girl Rachel Chavez turns to horror movies for comfort. She prefers stabby serial killers and homicidal dolls to the bored rich kids of Manhattan Prep, and to certain memories she'd prefer to keep buried. Then Rachel is recruited by the Mary Shelley Club, a mysterious society of students who orchestrate fear tests, which are elaborate pranks inspired by urban legends and movie tropes. At first, Rachel embraces the power that comes with reckless pranking, but as the fear tests escalate, the competition turns deadly, and it's clear Rachel is playing a game she can't afford to lose. June Her's debut, The Silence of Bones, was one of our team's favorite reads of the year, and now June is back with another haunting historical mystery set in 15th century Korea. Hwani's family has never been the same since she and her younger sister went missing and were later found unconscious in the forest near a gruesome crime scene. Years later, Detective Min, her father, learns that 13-year-old girls have recently disappeared from the same forest that nearly stole his daughters. He travels to their hometown on the island of Jeju to investigate, only to vanish as well. Determined to find her father and solve the case that tore their family apart, Hwani returns home to pick up the trail. And she digs into the secrets of the small village. She comes to realize that the answers could lie within her own buried memories of what happened in that forest all those years ago. Fans of K-dramas and historical fiction will love this richly atmospheric mystery that will keep readers guessing until the very last page. Joan He is the author of the acclaimed debut Descendant of the Crane, and her new book, The Ones We're Meant to Find, is We Were Liars meets Black Mirror. And I'm just warning you now, you will not be able to put this book down, so clear your day for this. It's been 3 years since C woke up on the shores of an abandoned island. She has no idea how she became marooned or what her life was like before she came there. She has no idea. The only thing she has are a rickety house on the sea, the android she built for company, and a single memory. Somewhere beyond the horizon, she has a sister, and C needs to find her. In a world apart, STEM prodigy Casey is also looking for an escape from her home, the metropolis, the last unpolluted place on Earth, which was supposed to be a sanctuary for those committed to protecting the planet. Instead, it's become a prison populated by those who are willing to do anything to gain refuge there, even lie. Now Casey will have to decide if she's ready to use science to save humanity, even if it failed the people who mattered most to her. The Sea is Salt, and So Am I. I'll Give You the Sun meets normal people in this stunning must-read debut coming this June. The town of Westfinch is one hurricane away from falling into the sea, yet 16-year-old Harlow is determined to save her small Maine hometown. If only she could stop getting in her own way and find someone, anyone willing to help. But her best friend Ellis fixes problems by running away from them, including his broken relationship with his twin brother, Tommy. And Tommy's depression has hit a new low, so he's not up for fixing anything. In the wake of the town's latest devastating storm, Tommy goes out for a swim that he doesn't intend to survive. It's his unexpected return that sets into motion a sea change between these three teens, one that tests old loyalties, sparks new romance, and uncovers painful secrets. And nothing stays secret in Westfinch for long. Exquisitely honest and shimmering with emotion, this is a captivating multi-perspective story that probes the depths of what it means to love and trust both ourselves and others. We also have a number of popular continuing series coming in 2021. We have the sequel to the bestseller We Hunt the Flame, and the second book in Leigh Bardugo's King of Scars duology, Rule of Wolves. Adeline Grace, author of the New York Times bestseller All the Stars and Teeth, and its forthcoming sequel, All the Tides of Fate, will be speaking on the William C. Morris program during the symposium this year, so be sure to tune in for that. And in addition to all of the spectacular books I've talked about today, there are even more digital ARCs available on NetGalley. I wish I had more time to talk about all of these books, but we've got enemies to lover romance like She Drives Me Crazy, thrillers like She's Too Pretty to Burn, and the start of a new fantasy duology by Tricia Levenseller. Again, you can visit our YALSA posts on the SNL website to learn more about these titles and how to request them. Thank you again for tuning into today's Book Buzz. Please visit our website to find more young adult recommendations, staff picks, new releases, author events, and book giveaways. You can always get the latest updates from us by following us on social media or signing up for our monthly newsletter. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. I hope you enjoy the rest of this year's symposium, and take care.